Good afternoon, 3D Effect team members, and welcome to this week's edition of Monday Minutes with Mary Kay and Jody. Jody, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So Jody, let's kind of start off on a little get to know you. Tell us, where do you live? Where are you from? Are you married? Do you have kids? All that good stuff.
Well, I live in Fountain Hills. I've been in Fountain Hills since 2012. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I moved here in 2008 with my husband. We have two sons who live still on the East Coast, as well as the rest of my family, all up and down the East Coast. Nobody except for my brother is where we actually started out, in Philadelphia area.
And so what brought you here to Arizona from Philadelphia?
This is a place that we've always wanted to live. We thought we would move here in the 90s with our family, which never happened. Then we thought we would move here to retire, which still didn't happen, but we moved here because my husband Sid got a job here, which he looked into when we came out 1 year for vacation.
And when you moved here, you had a profession that I think is pretty interesting. What did you do?
Yes, I was a dental hygienist. I could not find a job here. I actually came 6 months after Sid. I worked back there and lived in our house for 6 months after he moved out here to start his new job. And when I moved here, I could not find a job. It was a good year and a half before I could find a job. I moved here during that recession of 2008. And finally, I did get a job and worked there for 4 years. And that job did not work out the way I had expected. So I was a forced retirement from dental hygiene.
I love that. So now share with us, how did Avon come into your life?
Okay. I guess a little over a year before I actually even moved, I must have seen a commercial or something for Avon, the retexturizing peel pads. So I said, oh, I'm going to try them. And I did. And the Avon lady that surfaced me, and I don't remember how I found her, but she lived right around the corner from me. And I was buying I bought that product from her. And little by little, I was trying more and more skincare. And I was actually using a good amount of skincare. And then when I knew I was moving, I said, maybe I'll try this. I had no clue what was involved, none. I just said, oh, maybe I'll sign up and I'll do this. And within a month after I moved into Arizona, that's what I did.
And what year was that, Jody?
It was December of 2008. I got here November and I joined in December.
And so you didn't have a leader or anything for a while. So share with us, how did it come about that you ended up on our team?
I remember just calling or getting in touch with Avon through, I guess, the computer, whatever phone number they must have given me. And it took a while, but finally I was hooked up with Susan. And she came to where I was living and she actually signed me up. It was $10 at the time. She came to my apartment and she signed me up, and she was my district manager. And it was some years later that something with you and your meetings, and I don't know how I was placed on your team at this time. I really don't know or remember. And I said, oh, maybe I'll go to your meeting. They were at that Denny's. I think they've always been at that Denny's in Tempe.
So the way that you came into our team is Avon had an opportunity called nesting. And so
Yes.
if we did certain things, we got some representatives. And so you ended up being with somebody, you were nested with somebody who was Spanish only.
That's right. I remember that part.
Yep.
Yes.
And so I was sending emails to everybody on the team. It didn't matter where they were, who they were. And then your cute little face showed up one day, and I guess you could say the rest is history, right?
Yes. And what I remember is I was just one of the people sitting there at your meetings, and you had something. Was it the 400 Club that was at the start, the 400?
Yeah, it was.
And, yes, because we needed approximately $400 a campaign to become in President's Club by the end of the year. So if you hit that goal X amount of times, I think it was 10 times through the year, we were invited to a breakfast brunch with you and Scott. So at one of these breakfasts that we were at, you had basically invited me into your inner circle, and I was totally shocked and freaked out all at the same time. And I said, go for it. Like, what do I have to lose? I wasn't sure what was going to happen or where you were going to take me. But I said, okay, I'm yours.
Well, and I'm glad that you did that. And now I know that today you do, pre-COVID, you did a lot of events. You and Tamara, and then Andrea starting to, I call you the event queens. And I started this business doing a table in my driveway and started doing events. And so share with us, how did you get involved in doing events? Have you always done them?
No, I did not do them. It was, I think 2014 was the first one with you, actually. You had invited me to an event at an old hotel in Mesa. It was back in December, so it was holiday time. I had never done an event before. It was $50, which we both thought was so much money to spend on an unknown thing that we had no clue. And we shared it. We shared the cost. We shared the table. We both bought our own products that we had, and to see what happened. It was not a very successful event, I remember, as far as items moving off of our table, but we did meet and have different contacts, and that's where somebody had asked us or me about country stores, which I had never heard of at the time. And a country store turns out to be an event at these the RV parks in Mesa, and I looked into it and went with it.
And so share with us a little bit about, so when COVID hit, you were kind of in the middle of your event season. And so share with us how that's impacted your business and how you pivoted from doing events to where we are today right now, where you can't really do events.
Yes, it definitely affected it a lot. I personally had one more event at each of my places when everything just came to a screeching halt. So there were some orders I wasn't able to deliver because people had left and went back to wherever they came from. There are some people that live in these places year round, but it is mostly winter visitors. So a lot of people had left, and I was stuck with some orders that weren't able to be delivered. And I, as well as Tamara and Andrea and anyone else, we did lose all of that business because we weren't able to go visit and have these tables at all these events. So it definitely did impact it a lot. And I was just starting to break into assisted living, independent living type places, and that came to also a screeching halt just as I was getting my feet in the door. So yeah, so it was like one step forward and stop where you're at.
Well, and one thing that I've seen consistently through you is, even though there haven't been events, your sales are as high as when you were doing events. So what are you doing different in your business now that you haven't had events these last few months? And even in summer's slow, and it has not been that way for you. So share with us, what are you doing?
I haven't been doing a whole lot. My customers have been amazing. I have found some great customers. Some at these RV parks, which happens, and at an independent living. Those will have to be two of my customers. And one customer orders every campaign. I have been with her. She's been with me for about a year and a half, if that long, and she has maybe missed 5 campaigns, maybe. And I haven't seen her since February, probably, but we figured out she leaves her money with the people at the front counter where she lives, and I give them her bag, and she gives me an envelope with money and an order. She still hasn't missed. In fact, I have one for her for this week. She's been ordering I mean, sometimes it's $25, but more times it's $75, $100. And the one in Mesa also at the RV park is the same thing. In fact, she called me this morning with an order. So those two people off the top of my head have been helping me amazing more than they have actually know.
Well, and what I love is that goes back to people do business with those they know, like, and trust. They know you, they like you, they trust you, and they love Avon, right? I mean, we've got
Yes.
amazing products.
Yes.
And so it's really about that one friend at a time, like Andrea says quite a bit, right? And so they have a friend in you, and they know that they're going to get a great product from a great person with great customer service. So
Yes.
good job with that. Absolutely. Because you already made President's Club and you're on track to Honor Society. So with the holidays coming, anything is possible.
Yes.
So the other thing that I would like to ask you is, I know that a couple years ago, you earned an all expense paid Avon trip, and it was so not even on your radar. Can you share a little bit about how that journey came about to where you wanted to earn this trip and what that was like?
Yes. Yes, it wasn't on my radar, not even a little bit. Because at the time, in order to earn that trip, you had to have a team. More than, I don't even think it was based on sales at all. It was just strictly team. It was a team, yes, which I did not have. And I didn't even think to even make the attempt until I was at one of your meetings, and Cheryl, another team member, made a comment as to what the minimal requirements needed, which I think was 5 people. We needed to have 5 people join our team, and we would receive the points and the dollar amounts necessary to earn this trip. So I thought about it. I talked to my husband about it, and it was like, well, what do I have to lose? So I asked customers, friends, like good customers, some friends, my sister, and I ended up having 6 people join my team. I explained to them what was their responsibility, and all they needed to do at that time, they needed to place one $150 order in which they would receive 40% off of. They would get all their products at that great discount. I would receive what I needed from them. And I said, doesn't matter if you move forward after that. I just need you to do one at one time. And the couple did stay with us for a while, stay with Avon for a while, but I did it. It happened.
And so where did you go, and how was that experience?
We went to Atlantis in the Bahamas, and Cheryl also earned the trip, so I did room with her. It was the most amazing experience. I should only be that lucky to be able to do it again. They cover you from soup to nuts. We were gone, I think, for 4 days. I spent $150 because I bought souvenirs. Everything was paid for. Every meal, meals, taxes, gratuities, the room, the airfare, everything. It could have cost me $0 if I bought nothing.
Well, and I've been on several Avon trips, and there is nothing like it, from them coordinating your airfare to the transfers to the way they greet you when you get there. There's always a welcome gift. So there's nothing like an Avon trip ever that I've ever experienced in my life, and it sounds like you're the same.
Yes.
Now, interesting, I heard you say that you had some people on your team, and then some of them stayed, some of them went away. So what does that look like for you today?
Some of them were about a year or so. They lasted, and then they just kind of fizzled out, which was fine because I didn't expect them to even do what they did. And it did promote me because I had that many people at that time to bronze ambassador, I believe. So I did get some of the perks because of that, which only lasts for that year that you accomplish that goal. At this time, I am not actively looking for a team. I am perfectly open to opportunities like that, but I just haven't. The people that I've had on my team in the past, they never owned their business. I always felt that I had to constantly push and try to motivate. I have to do that for me. I don't want to do that for you. If you can't do that for yourself, then that's not who I need or who I want. So I just decided to concentrate on me for now. But I am open to the option if somebody wants to join and they want to put in the time and the work. I've been doing this for, what, 11 and a half years. I know what it takes. You know what it takes too. You want to do that? I'm there with you all the way.
And you are such a great motivator, supporter, and you know how to run this business. And what I'm super excited about is this Thursday on our chat, you and Tamara are going to talk about how you find events, how you do events, how you track your inventory. So I'm super excited, even from my lens to, because I was told from my mentor I needed to fish in a different pond for a very long time because I had those same team members, right? And what I have found, and I joined my local chamber and I started fishing in a different pond. And so a lot of my new team members are from friends that I've had for a year and from the chamber. And I don't do it for them anymore because, like you said, you have to own your own business, and we have a hard enough time running our own business, let alone running somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for what the future of Jody's team could look like, because you're an amazing mentor and they would be very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So, and I'm excited to hear from you on Thursday night as well. And so let's do some fun questions. So I know that you and Sid, your husband, love to go to restaurants and you love to travel around different places. Like you just came back. Where did you just come back from? It was about a month ago. You guys went somewhere. Where did you go?
We went up to Utah.
To Utah. And so
yes.
You went to quite a few unique restaurants whenever you travel. So obviously not Utah. Let's focus here in Arizona and in the main areas. But what would be your and your husband's go-to restaurant that you would recommend to us as your team members?
Okay, well,
I know there's a lot to pick
from. Yes, and you know, not so much me, but he is a creature of habit. So if he finds some place that he likes, he wants to go there all the time.
And is it pizza? Because I know him. Is it pizza?
Yes, pizza is one.
Yep.
In fact, when we lived in Philadelphia, we went to the same pizza restaurant every Friday night for years. Years. We became friends with the owners and became friends with other of the customers in the restaurant, which we're still friends with to this day. But yes, so he is a creature of habit. Me, I like to branch out a little bit more, but okay. So for pizza, my favorite place to go for pizza is Venezia's Pizza. That's my favorite place. It's New York style pizza. It's pretty close to what I'm used to back from the East Coast. That's if somebody said let's go for pizza, that's where I would go.
Now, does Sid agree with you?
That is one of his favorite places. Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Venezia's, and what would you and Sid recommend that we order?
I am not a big. I'm more of a plain Jane kind of eater, so I usually I'm very happy with spinach and mushrooms. He's more of a meat. He likes the meat. I'm not a pepperoni girl.
Nope.
So sometimes I'll let him put like sausage or something on there, ground meat, but I'm perfectly happy with spinach and mushrooms.
That's my kind of pizza too. I don't like the meat, so we'll have to go and share a pizza one of these times.
We get a salad. And we get a salad.
Absolutely. We're on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jody, thank you so much for spending time with me today and helping us get to know you a little bit more. And I'm super excited for what the future holds for you. And I'm excited to hear from you on Thursday night at our chat.
Thank you. Just one more thing.
Absolutely.
Those retexturizing peel pads that I started my journey with, I still use them to this day.
And why do you love them?
At this point, it's kind of habit, but it's an exfoliator. It just makes my skin feel good, and I recommend them all the time. It started my Avon journey.
How often do you use them, and when do you use them?
I use them in the morning after my shower, and I don't use them as often as they say. I use them maybe once a week now, but they are, I think, an every other day item.
And because of you, I use them twice a week, and I use them at night. But because of you, I never use them until you. So thank you for that. Yes,
you're welcome.
I feel bad. And I'm excited for a new product that's coming out this week. So it'll be exciting to see that too.
Yes,
Well, thank
definitely.
you for that, and we will see you on Thursday.
Yes, I will see you Thursday.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.